Lesson 82, graph equations using intercepts. So let's just review graphing lines. Standard form of a line is an ax plus by equals c. We have the x-intercept, which means the point on the graph that crosses the x-axis. That means your ordered pair. Your x, if it crosses the x-intercept, that means you're looking to find out where it crosses the x-axis. That means your y is going to be 0. So to find the x-intercept, you substitute 0 in for y and solve for x. And then when you're trying to find the y-intercept, the y-intercept is the point where on the graph that crosses the y-axis. So that means your x is 0, so you plug in 0 in for x to solve for your y. So let's take a look at an example here. It says find the x and y intercepts of 3x plus 4y equals 24, and then graph the equation. So to find the x, I need to put 0 in for y. So that means I have now 3x equaling 24. The x by itself, I divide by 3. X has to equal 8. That means my coordinates would be x is 8, y is 0. To find the y-intercept, I have 0 in for x, 4y equals 24. To get y by itself, I divide by 4. I end up with y equaling 6. That means when x is 0, y is 6. So now I'm going to plug those points on my graph here. These are all counting by, here I'll count by 2's. So this is 2, 4, 6, 8. My x's, I'll do the same. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's put our x-intercept first. So our x, when x is 8, y is 0. So that's point here. And then 0, 6 would be here. Now I can draw my line to connect my two intercepts. So just remember, to find your x, your y is 0. To find your y, your x is 0. Try another one here. Find the x and y intercepts for this one. Actually, this one we already done. This one was the same as the previous one. So let's move on to practice problem A. Here we have 2x plus, so we're trying to find our x. Y is going to be 0, so equals 8. So we have 2x equaling 8. The x by itself, divide by 2. X equals 4. That means our ordered pair is 4, 0. Here, to find our y, put 0 in for x, plus y equals 8. So we already have y equals 8. So our ordered pair is when x is 0, y is 8. Again, go by 2's, so 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. Plot our points. We got 4 and 0. We have 0 and 8. And then we can draw our line. And there we just graphed our intercepts. Next one, find the x and y intercepts of this, of 3x minus 2y equals 12, and then graph. So another way of doing this is, since I know I'm trying to find my x, 3x equals 12. So to get x by itself, I divide by 3. X would equal 4. So my ordered pair would be 4, 0. So instead of putting the 0 in there, writing it down, you can simplify it this way, because we need to find where it crosses the x. And then when it finds the y, negative 2y equals 12, because 3 times 0 is 0. Get y by itself, divide by 2, negative 2. y would equal a -6. So our point would be 0, -6. And let's put our graph here. So 2, 4, 6, 8. We got -2, -4, -6, -8. Let's plot our points. So we got 4, 0 on the x-axis and 0, -6 on the y-axis. And draw our line. There's our graph of the intercepts. Next one, do the same thing, find our x's. So -x equals 6, divided by -1, x is a -6. So we have -6 and 0. Over here we got 3y equals 6. Solve for y, divide by 3. Y would equal 2. So our point is 0, 2. Plot our points, then come by 2's. Plot our points, we got -6 and 0. -6 would be right here. So put a point here. And we got 0, 2, should be here. Draw our line. There we have graphed our intercepts. And a couple more. Here, find the x and y intercepts. So when y is 0, x equals a -4. So our point would be -4, 0. On this side, we got 2y equals a -4. Get y by itself, divide by 2. Y would equal a -2. So our point, when x is 0, y is -2. So again, combine 2's on our axes. We got 0, -4. We have 0, -2. Draw our line. There's our graph. Next one, Martin is thinking of two numbers. He gives these hints. The sum of the numbers is 3. If you double the first number and add the second number, the sum is 8. Graph this system of equations to find the two numbers. So here you have your system here, x plus y equals 3. So we can graph this using the intercepts. So this first one, x plus y equals 3. Well, if x is 0, what is y? Y would have to be 3. So we would have 0, 3. And then if y is 0, x would have to be 3. So 3, 0. So let's plot those points. Actually, before we plot those points, let's do the other one. So here, 2x plus y equals 8. So to find our x, 2x equals 8 divided by 2. X would have to equal 4. So this one is 4, 0. And then to find the y would equal 8. That means when x is 0, y is 8. So all these we're calling by 2's. So 2, 4, 6, 8, -2, -4, -6, -8. This is -2 and -4, -6, -8, 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's plot our points now. 0, 3 would be here. 3, 0 would be here. So I draw my line. And then the other one, we got 4, 0. And we have 0, 8. And draw our line here. Now my graph is off a little bit. My lines aren't as straight as they should be. but they technically should be connecting right here. Actually, not right there. Let's erase that part. You'd be crossing technically right here, which that would be 5 and -2. So that would be the point where those two lines cross. So our two numbers would be 5 and -2, which would make sense because 5 plus a -2 is 3. 5 times 2 is 10. 10 plus a -2 is 8. So our two numbers are 5 and -2. And our last one, Tanisha is thinking of two numbers. The sum of the numbers is 5. If the lesser number is subtracted from the greater number, the result is 7. Graph this system of equations to find the two numbers. Okay, so for this first one, if x is 0, y has to be 5. If y is 0, x has to be 5. And then the other one, if x is 0, you have a -y equals 7. 5 by -1, y would have to equal a -7. And then if y is 0, x would have to equal a +7. Now let's write our numbers here. Let's count by, since we're dealing with odd numbers here, we're going to count by ones. So this would be 1, 3, 5, 7, -1, -3, -5, -7, -1, -3, -5, -7, 1, 3, 5, 7. Plot our points now. So we got 0, 5. 0, 5 would be here. We got 5, 0 would be here. And draw our line. And then we have points 0, -7, and 0, 7. Draw a line here. So it looks like it's going to cross at 6 and half, -1/2. But that would not be right. So we would have to do, mine is off a little bit. So it probably should be crossing down here, which would be 6 and -1. Which would make sense because if I put a 6 in for x plus a -1 would give us 5. I put a 6 here minus a -1, which is +1, that gives us 7. So your graph needs to be accurate. Since I wasn't using a ruler to draw my lines, it's off a little bit. So I would recommend you using a ruler when you're drawing your lines so you can be as accurate as possible. Always, you can check your answer by plugging it in just like I did that one. So that's our lesson today on graphing equations using intercepts.